Good morning, everybody. I hereby call to order the September 12th, 2025 public hearing for the City of Prescott Preservation Commission. Present, Rick Kimmery.
Present.
James McCarver.
Yes.
Diane Travis.
Yes.
Rob Johnson.
Here.
Janelle is excused. And I'm Richard Sprain, acting, or chairman. Need to change that. The staff members present. Alex Bremelet. Future chairperson, Mike King. Jacob Lunds, recording secretary. And Mayor Phil Good.
Can we do it?
Oh, and Tammy Do It. Sorry. I knew that. This is an open public meeting and is being recorded by the city. Proceedings are televised by representatives of the public media, local cable, and/or radio stations, and may be rebroadcast. The number of commissioners present is 5, and require a majority vote for those to pass a motion. All parties wishing to be heard will be expected to state their name for the record, speak loudly and close to the microphone, and please turn off all your telephones. Well, do we have the minutes from the last one that we're supposed to?
No, we didn't get them in time, but you'll have them on your next packet for the last meeting, the special meeting, and then this meeting.
And number 3, I guess, unless you have a presentation we could do.
We have a
we'll go ahead and do that.
presentation,
Okay.
yes. So Tammy DeWitt, Community Planner at the City of Prescott. So before you today is a request for a special use permit for a remodel, adding 50% or more to the value of the existing structures relative to the pre-model values. So per the Land Development Code, because this is in a downtown business district, it does require a cursory review by the Prescott Preservation Commission to make sure it's still compatible with the remodel of the building. So a special use permit is required by the Land Development Code. It's located in the North Prescott National Register District, so it's not in a local district, it is in a national district. But it does require a courtesy review by this body before going to the Planning and Zoning Commission and then the City Council. So there's 4 compatibility review criteria per the special use permit that we look at, and these were looked at in your packet. The construction and exterior building materials shall be high quality and long lasting. Structures shall demonstrate the general principles of good design, including but not limited to those dealing with form, mass, scale, height, texture, and color. Specific consideration shall be given to compatibility with other like structures in the vicinity where such structures are substantially in compliance with this Land Development Code. The architectural design of structures and the materials and colors shall be visually harmonious with the overall appearance, history, and cultural heritage of downtown Prescott. Generous use of architectural interest elements is encouraged, and then all mechanical equipment shall be screened from view in accordance with the 62658E. So this is the building we're looking at. It's a 130 Cortez Street. The downstairs, they did demo the first level prior to coming before this body, but we do have renderings of what they're proposing. The second and third story are going to be converted to apartments, and then they're proposing a 4th story that'll be residence. They are maintaining the characteristics of the 2nd and 3rd floor, the architectural features. The Prescott Hotel on the brick side will remain on it. So here's some historical photos provided. It was all brick back in the day, but you know, as many of the buildings we see in downtown Prescott, it was stuccoed over on the front and the south side. Here's another rendering of the building. As we can see with this part of Cortez Street, with this building's gone now. This building's still there than this building, but that's the one that looks totally different than the other buildings. So here's a rendering of what they're proposing. So like I said, on the second and third stories, they're going to redo the windows. They're going to maintain the arches. But the first floor, we're going to add a new fabric awning to the first floor, and then redo it to make it a little bit more modern, but still kind of in character. Install an elevator that will go up to the fourth floor, and then the second and third floors converted to apartments, and then the addition of the recessed fourth floor for a new residence. And here's a side rendering to show what it'll look like on the south elevation. They are not adding to the back of the building. They're just putting up the fourth story. Then on the north elevation, they're going to maintain the brick. And like I said, the Prescott Hotel will be on there. They just didn't add it to their renderings, but we did confirm that will be on there. And then here's the rear, and they are providing 8 parking spaces for the residential use in the back. Here's another view. Like I said, the Prescott Hotel sign on the south side will remain. Then here's another view of the north side showing that they will maintain the stucco, because as we know, we can't take the stucco off the Prescott brick. So they're going to maintain and make it more compatible with the area of the colors and such. Then here's another view looking at it. As we can see on the other building, we do have another 4th story here. So it's not out of character to add the 4th story in this district. And it does meet the height requirements allowed in the downtown business district. Here's another rendering provided. I kind of show how it's going to look like on top of the building. And that concludes my presentation. We do have a recommended action with a condition that the applicant shall submit exterior building materials for review and approval by the historic preservation specialist prior to building permit approval. We did send this to SHPO too, because this is in the National District, and I emailed you the comments that we got from SHPO. They did compare it to the Secretary of the Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties for rehabilitations. They aren't demoing it, they're rehabbing it, and there's 6 criteria. And this basically met the 6 criteria because they are maintaining the historical characteristics of the building, the architectural details that are characteristic for this building. And they're keeping the Prescott Hotel ghost sign, which was very important to SHPO, and adding the 4th story, as you saw in the criteria they submitted. Rooftop additions are part of their criteria that are allowed. But it is set back too, that also meets the SHPO criteria. So it's not as visible from the street view, which is what a lot of the design criteria for historic preservation, we're always looking at the street view of it to make sure it maintains its character. And that concludes my presentation. I'm free to answer any questions.
So just a couple, just for information. So what is the 4 floors on the adjacent building? What is that 4th floor being utilized for today?
Equipment storage.
Okay, and the equipment storage for this building will be where?
It'll be the elevator shaft equipment room will be incorporated into the 4th story, so it's going to be screened.
Okay. The other thing, does the state have any requirement on height?
No, but our land development code does, and this does meet we are allowed 50 feet in the downtown business district, and this meets the height requirement.
Thank you.
I was looking on the thing from SHPO and at the rooftop additions for NPS, and they discourage anything over the 3 stories and adding a 4th floor to an historic building like this, even though I understand it is not on the register because of all the alterations over the years. With it being fixed like this, without the addition, would it be a contender for
No.
historic buildings? It still would not be because of the stucco, or?
But also, now that they demoed the first story, the front there, that any historic character, but my understanding it wasn't eligible because of the alterations that have been done over the years. But it is maintaining what's left of the historic character, the arches, and they're also in the fourth story, as you can see, they're also incorporating those arches over the windows to kind of maintain that historic character and those elements that are important for this, that are relevant to this building.
And other than the 1960s building a couple doors down, that's the only fourth floor on that entire street on that side and around? There's none across the street.
Across the street, I don't think so. That's I think that's only 3 stories too. The old hotel there, yeah.
So yeah, I think would kind of stick out like a sore thumb because you're definitely going to be able to see that from the streets. And even NPS says
Sort of.
really
I mean,
fourth is not recommended for anything with floors under, I think it said 4 stories or 3 stories.
from the street view, if you're looking at it from the street view and looking up, I mean, like if you look at this picture, because it is recessed back, even on the sides, it's recessed back, it's not as visible. So you aren't looking up at it where it's flush. It is set back, so it isn't as visible from the street view. It'll blend in a little bit more with that being recessed back.
Yeah, I think the rest of the building's pretty much an eyesore. So for most part, I think this is going to be awesome. Just have my reservations about the 4th edition on there.
And the engineering is going to have to show that it can meet it, but they've been working on this for a few years. So they kind of have an idea of that this is going to be able to withstand the extra weight of that 4th story.
Any other questions?
So I'd like to echo concerns about adding a 4th floor. I think it, even though it's not in the historic preservation district, I think that it sets a bad precedent. It's close enough to the downtown area, and I think that the building, the goal is to try to maintain the character of our other 100-year-old buildings downtown, and I think this should blend in with those other buildings appropriately. So I would I would not be in favor of adding a 4th floor. The stucco exterior, it's discouraged, but I think that that's the way the building has been in the recent past, and so I think maintaining that wouldn't be out of character. A little bit of concern on the requirements for the street level window proportions. Not supposed to be over 75% of the entire opening, and I didn't get my ruler out to measure that. I think it's probably okay, but there's a lot of windows on the street level, and I would suggest that they make sure that they stay within that suggestion also. Main concern is the 4th floor. I think it should go.
Where's the 70%?
That's for Courthouse Plaza.
Okay, this is not.
This is not in the Courthouse Plaza. And that's one of the problems. Our historic preservation plan for this part of Prescott has not been written yet. It's supposedly in progress, but I got a feeling we're probably a year or two still away. I don't know if Kat's working on part of that. She is not working on it. Kat Moody.
We had someone else working on updating the historic preservation master plan, so it is in the works still. That may be before you, probably next year. But in the meantime, this is not in a local district.
Correct.
So we cannot apply any of our local criteria to this area of downtown.
But we can do SHPO's historic,
National.
although it's not a contributing can't talk today. Contributing building to the street and or North Prescott, correct?
Correct. It's not a contributor.
Right. So that kind of, yeah.
But it is maintaining, if you look at, the historical pictures of it, This is maintaining a lot of the historical character from that time frame, the architectural characteristics of this building, which are significant to this building. So at least they're maintaining all that and redoing all that. We'd love to be able to take the stucco off, but we know that's not doable with the Prescott brick. But they're maintaining the one wall that still has the brick, which was a very important aspect from SHPO. And
Yeah.
the Prescott Hotel being still on there. Even though it's not going to be a hotel, that's a historical character, a historic portion of that building.
And removing the stucco can actually harm the building greatly, from what I understand too.
Yes.
So
The brick it'll crumble
right.
underneath
It
it.
would collapse.
Yes.
So yeah, the stucco has to stay. I understand that.
You know, I'm aware that anything we say is just a suggestion because it's not in the local historic district, but it needs to blend in with the character of the other buildings. And I think the guidelines that we use that apply to the historic district are reasonable to apply the suggestions on how they develop this building. And the fourth floor, it will be visible from the street level. It meets the height requirement, although our recommendations are 48 feet, but it's 50, and that's okay. But I just feel like it needs to blend in and maintain the character of the rest of the Courthouse Plaza area.
But just as a reminder, this is not in the local district. We cannot apply those criteria to this project.
Okay. Diane Travis, I want to get my 2 cents in here. This is in a national district, and I've got the national guidelines here. Generally, a new addition should be subordinate to the historic building. A new addition should be compatible, but differentiated enough so that it is not confused as historic or original in the building. So we don't want it to look exactly like the original building.
And if you look at the criteria that was sent with the interpretation from SHPO, that we do want those additions on the 4 stories set back like they did, that does meet the SHPO criteria for rooftops additions. So,
And Adriana says that 4 stories, it's a little bit arbitrary.
yeah.
It sets a bad precedent, though.
Do you mind? Thank you. Okay. Alex Bramlett, planning manager, just want to touch on a few things real quick. Thanks for pointing that out, Ms. Travis. So we are leaning pretty heavily on the SHPO recommendation because we don't have a historic specialist on staff right now. Kaylee is out for some personal time. And so as Tammy mentioned, it's not the local district, so we're not, they're there. The local districts does have guidelines. You can kind of take them into consideration, but we can't apply them very specifically to this project. SHPO does talk about the 4-story. It's, kind of a theme. We don't really specifically address it. She says it seems minimal. The step back is in line and helps kind of reduce that impact, which was positive. Further, they do kind of keep in line with the existing 2nd and 3rd floor, but she noted that, Tammy, can you go to the front visual, please?
Nope, sorry.
She noted that it is important that, yeah, perfect, thank you. On the 4th story, the arches are wider and not inset, so it creates kind of a cohesive thing, but it is setting it separate from the existing components of the building, and that was also positive. And then the last thing I'll mention too with the 1st floor, the storefronts, that over time in this area, it has really changed a lot from kind of the historic original component of it, and so that she really wasn't too concerned about the storefront given it's just changed so much over time, and she focused more on the 2nd, 3rd floor, maintaining that, and then the 4th story just keeping in kind but setting it apart. So just want to add that. Thank you.
We don't know what the storefront, what it looks like now underneath all that plywood and stuff, right?
There is no storefront. They
It's just
demoed
open?
it. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. They had a demo permit and they took all that and they there was a lot of cool historic stuff inside. I think they're trying to keep some of that stuff to reintegrate it into it when they redo the bottom floor. We're just not sure what the bottom floor use will be. It might be retail or something similar to that.
But they didn't take any pictures for historic purposes?
I don't know if they did.
Okay. So what do you want from us?
Well, we need a recommendation on this SUP. We are suggesting adding the condition that the applicants submit exterior building materials for review and approval by when they get to that point.
Diane Travis, I move to.
Is there anyone from the public here to speak? Just want to make sure. No? Oh,
I'm not with the public, but I apologize, I'm late. I'm the architect on the project.
Oh.
If there are any questions I can help with, I apologize, I'm late.
Come on up and state your name, please.
Sorry. Again, I apologize. My name is Colin Lovedahl. I'm with Michael Taylor Architects. So if I can help with any questions.
We're glad somebody's finally doing something with the building.
Oh,
I think it's been an eyesore for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of sad that you couldn't keep the brick, but we understand it would ruin the building in itself.
We
I
did
like that
do
you're
a-
doing the windows back, and for that part, it's going to look fabulous, I believe.
Yeah.
The storefronts were kind of but our biggest concern, I think, is the fourth floor.
Okay. The brick, just so you know, we did do some, a small area. You can see if you go by on the south side, up at the first level of corbels, we removed about 2 square feet of material just to confirm that how it was attached. We did a larger sample on the back, and it was, there's nails in that soft brick about every 8 inches, and it just starts pulling the brick right off the building. So we double checked at the front as well, just so you know.
Appreciate that.
And then as far as the penthouse goes, or whatever term we want to use, in looking at the neighboring properties, they were able to step it back a little bit farther. The challenge we've had in this situation is this building isn't as deep. And so if we were to go farther back, we really start to restrict the usable area of that top floor. So we have stepped it back as far as we could to create the angle that you see in this drawing to conceal it as much as possible.
Can you bring the drawing up of the side of the building that shows the back part of it also? What is that rear part behind the building that looks like it goes out another
Sure.
50, 100 feet?
The intent is to, so there'll be parking at ground level, and then the intent is to have a patio level coming off of the second floor back there.
Okay, so parking will be underneath the patio area, that's what that is?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Instead of a fourth floor, could they add something behind the building so it's not visible? From the street?
The difficulty is we are required to provide 3 parking spots, and that would probably remove or obviate the opportunity to do that. We have a pretty small area. We have a large SES electrical power that needs to go in back as well. Yeah.
and currently they have room for 8 parking spaces, which is highly encouraged.
Yeah, not to be argumentative, but I don't think we can, when you actually lay it out in there, we've looked at doing tandem parking where you would park one in front of the other. And we could maybe get 8 there, but once we overlaid the power requirements and then an exit stair requirement for that second floor, our parking is a lot less. Plus, we need to provide an egress path from the back of the main floor for people escaping in case there was a fire. And so that removes about a 40-inch width for the whole depth of the building as well.
So how many apartment units will be in that building?
3 on each floor, so 6 total. 3 on the second and 3 on the third.
one, on the penthouse area, the mechanical equipment would be on the roof is incorporated into that penthouse. It's not going to be projected above the
Correct.
ceiling level.
What we're intending to do is the stairway that serves as egress for the second, third, and then ultimately the fourth floor, we would build a metal structure within the stairway containment itself above, so that you still have clearance to use the stairs, but above that we would provide support for the condensing units. To conceal the condensing units for the other parts of the building, what we're trying to work out is putting them underneath that second floor deck area so that they're not obvious to the public. They're also away, the noise is away from the users of the building as well. So that's what we're trying to do. We think we have the height to do that.
Any other questions or comments? Can we get a motion then?
Diane Travis, I move to approve SUP 25-001 with the recommendation that the applicant submits exterior building materials for review and approval by the Historic Preservation Specialist.
And that's with leaving the fourth floor?
Yes.
All in favor?
Is there a second?
Is there a second? I'm sorry.
Rick Emery, I second.
All in favor?
Yes.
I
Hands
guess.
up, please, so we can make sure we're getting a record. So we have Diane.
One more time.
Yes.
Aye.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Against?
Okay. Passes 3-2. 3-2. Okay. 3-2.
So 3-2 against.
Yeah. No, 3-2-4.
Okay, I didn't see that. 3.
Yes.
Okay,
That's why I
motion
asked for-
carries 3-2. Wait, is that, well, that's still, yeah. Right, motion carries.
Yep. And we do have some staff updates, and I'll turn over to Alex.
Thank you, Alex Bramlett. So we have Mr. Mike King here with us today. He was approved by the subcommittee. He'll be on the council September 23rd session for the vote to approve, and then would be able to join you all up here after that. So the session that happens after, Mr. King will be there. So we're excited to have him on board. The other update, which I know sorry, you want to? Okay. I'm going to switch topics. Is that okay?
I just have a quick question. Is there a date set for the State Historic Society meeting next summer?
Oh, no. The State Historic Society meeting, not familiar, but we'll become familiar and we'll update you.
Thanks.
I don't know if it's going to happen with those SHPO funds being cut, so.
For the state conference, the state historic yeah, we haven't heard anything yet, but we'll reach out to SHPO to see if there's any updates.
We'll circle back with you. The other update is I know we mentioned to you all that the Plaza Hotel, they are going to be resubmitting. And so due to kind of timing, we asked you all to bring your calendars, and we would like to, because the next PPC meeting is October 10th. And we, again, given we don't have our historic specialist, we're going to be outsourcing it to a consultant to review. So we are asking for a special meeting to allow just the consultant have a little bit more time and just to buffer it a little so we're not rushed. And anyway, so that's why we're asking for a special meeting if possible. I know I mentioned the week of October 20th. The 20th is a Monday, so I will throw out to see if maybe Monday, October 20th works for anyone. Mr. Yes.
It works for me. Is there anybody who can't do it?
Mr. King, you good? Okay. Super.
And Rick, you gonna have to recluse yourself again? Okay.
Okay.
I have to recuse myself because I did work for the architect that's on the project, and I have a little more familiarity with the project.
Okay. Thank you. We appreciate that.
But
So
Mike will be here by then.
Mike will be here by then. Yeah.
Okay.
If we don't have an October 10th meeting, which we don't have anything queued up, so there won't be an October 10th meeting, we'll shoot for the 20th, and Mr. King can join us at that time. And we can check maybe let's get a feel for time that might work, and then we'll have to check availability for the room. So we'll just start with 9 a.m. Does 9 a.m. work for everyone?
I'm good the whole day.
Good all day. Okay, we'll start with 9. Do you have a way to pull up the calendar for this room? We'll make sure it's available. There's not usually anything going on Mondays, but
I don't have access to the calendar
Okay.
for this room.
we'll plan for 9, October 20th, Monday, 9 a.m. And then we'll follow up. We'll check to make sure it's available, and then we'll circle back with you and provide that information. So that was all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. I do have a question about something else, though. On, for HB 23009, for the house on Goodwin, he was supposed to have changed the front fence on that house, and he was supposed to come back to what was in Kaylee at the time to do it. And last time I drove by, it has not been touched. Has there been any? I don't know if you
HP
guys would know.
23009, you said?
Was
20
that with the pergolas?
That was for the pergolas and for the
The
fence.
fence. Okay.
So if I live right around the corner from there, so my recollection was he was supposed to put wood, 2x6 or whatever, three on one section of it, which he did on the alley, and we were supposed to come back, or Kaylee was going to come back and look at it to see that had been done. So that's where it stands right now.
We'll verify that. There were some other things they had to do with that property too, so we'll look into that.
So we'll circle up and follow about the conference, see if we can find some more info for you. We'll confirm the date for the special meeting date and time, and then we'll check in on that because we'll have to do some research.
Any other updates?
That was it.
Meeting's adjourned.